Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. It's your boy Doc, here with some Valkyria Chronicles. We're gonna be playing this, and by playing this, I mean picking up where I left off. Because I haven't really beaten this game, even though I had it for quite some time. And in all honesty, outside of this game, I've only played Valkyria Liberators. I never played the second Valkyria Chronicles, never played the third, haven't played the fourth yet, but I do plan on playing that eventually. So, given that this is the first one I've played, but I haven't finished it yet, I figure, you know, I might as well. So, if I remember correctly, where are we? Chapter 11. Okay, so even though I did say I didn't beat the game yet, I have watched the anime adaptation of this game, just because I was curious and all that stuff, just to see how it is compared to the game. It's not bad. It could be better, but it's not bad. And given where I am and given what happened in the anime, I know I'm right where the sad part begins. Right where the sad part is. And if you don't know what the sad part is, I'll just leave it to when I cover that area. So, now we're in the book thing that is the thingy and the blarg and blah blah blah, but before we get to actually playing where I picked off, not only do I need to check what the hell's going on, I'm going to give a history lesson to everyone who has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Because I am nice like that. So we go to the glossary. Okay, Valkyria Chronicles. Basically, this entire thing is a war on resources. Because in this universe, oil doesn't exist, or at least as far as we know. What we do have is a resource called Ragnite, which are basically blue crystal things, which power just about everything and anything. And it's amazing how it just is like literally the metal equivalent of oil. Which is funny because, say what you will about Valkyria Liberator, it's about 100 years before this game is. And the fact that the forces in that game 100 years earlier to this were using Ragnite like it was fucking toilet paper, with all the crazy shit they were doing with that, it's little wonder why that only a mere 100 years later we start to have wars on the damn thing because we fucking ran out. And that's what the First Europa War is, which is the equivalent of World War I. Only America's not involved. Okay? So, this is what happened. It basically, even the setup is pretty much almost exactly like freaking World War I here, as you can see. It started with the Crown Prince of the Empire being assassinated, which the Empire is the main assholes that you gotta deal with throughout anything. And then, you know, that shouted into all-out war, and, you know, shit just hit the fan. Only we brought tanks out right at the beginning. Trench warfare was obviously a thing, and both powers just eventually, between the Imperials, which are the big red motherfuckers, which represent Russia, and Hungary, and Austria, and arguably Poland, versus the Atlantic Federation, which is pretty much all the Western European powers, including Britain, even though it's not called Britain. I'm making that joke because they, you know, broke out of the European Union recently. Which basically the Atlantic Federation is pretty much the same as the European Union or whatever the fuck they call themselves. So, yeah. And then the second fucking war started. Which was a blitz into Federation land. Again, similar to World War II with Germany going like, ha, we going out this. Only it's not Germany, because the Empire is Austria-Hungary and fucking Russia combined. Okay? So we got arguably German tactics and technology with Russian steamroll fucking bullshit and endless resources. Scary thought, isn't it? That was pretty much Russia at the end of World War II anyway, but I digress. So, the war begins, invades Atlantic Federation, and then, shit just hits the fan. But we're not really going to be playing anywhere near the Atlantic Federation, no. Because you see that little blue dot over there, right at the north, right next to all that red in most of the area? Nah, that's the country we're in. That's Gallia. And Gallia is basically a combination of combination of Finland, Switzerland, and Israel. Okay? This is my point. Finland, because we're aggressive motherfucking fighters when push comes to shove. Switzerland, because we're neutral until someone invades our country, and then we just shoot at everyone. And Israel, because everyone is military trained. Because you can't be a pacifist without the strength to back it up. They got it right. But anyway, so let me get pictures here. Gallia. Alright? The little shit that could. Which is their flag right there. Smallest European nation. Well, not the smallest, but small there. And it fights like a motherfucking crazy-ass bastard. Like Finland in the Russian war, in the Winter War. Why I say Russian war, I don't fucking know. But anyway, that shit goes down. And like I said, you mainly fight the Empire because the Empire invades Gallia because we want your fucking resources. We don't care if you're part of the Atlantic Federation or not. Speaking of the Atlantic Federation, they're a bunch of assholes. Okay? What happens when you have political people who have their freaking heads up their asses run a collective union of every single nation that could potentially rival the Imperial forces, and that's the Atlantic Federation. Okay? They might be noble, they might be just, and there might be some nations that actually have leaders that aren't pieces of shit, but, most of them are corrupt as fuck, and yeah. You'll find out, I'll probably find out more about them, because Valkyria Chronicles 4 is this second Eurasian war, only on the Atlantic side, which is shocking, because all the other games, except for Liberation, were all about Gallia. So I'm eager to see what the fuck the Federation is through the eyes of their own soldiers, but from what limited you find out interacting with them in this game, specifically the one, he's an asshole, and I want him to die. But anyway, then the major bad guys you fight are what's called the Eastern European Imperial Alliance, aka the Empire. Again, it's Austria-Hungary and fucking Russia fused together, along with everyone else that was part of the Soviet Union. Okay? The only difference is more of us look more German than Russian. And also all of our soldiers that are grunts still wear a freaking medieval body armor. Because it looks cool. Fuck you, that's why. Now, what's interesting too about this is that there's lore with history and shit like that. We got the Valkyria and we got the Duskins, okay? So according to legend, Valkyria were, basically gods, practically gods. They ruled over a shit ton of territory in Eurasia, but they were assholes, okay? They were complete and utter assholes. The Duskins were a group of bluish haired people that somehow managed to get their shit together and rise up in rebellion against the Valkyrias, and more or less succeeded so fucking well that the Valkyrias, made a deal with them, which I'll explain that in a moment. So let me see if I can bring up the thing with the Duskins here. Okay, so the Duskins, in a way, they're treated like Jews against the Germans. Only everyone fucking hates them. Okay? The reason being is that when the Valkyrias got their ass beaten to them by the Duskins, but they couldn't finish the job, and I'm guessing the war between the two was like, yo, if we keep going at this, we're probably gonna kill every fucking thing. So the Valkyrias made a deal with the Duskins, where the Duskins are going to take the blame for every motherfucking thing. Okay? They're gonna take the blame for everything that the Valkyrias have done, and the Valkyrias are going to be the liberators. So basically, historically speaking, we're switching roles. The Duskins are now the assholes, and the Valkyrias are now the freaking heroes, even though it was the opposite. But only a select few know about that, which is why Duskins are basically hated upon by almost everyone, because everyone fucking blames them for shit that they never even lived through. Yeah. And you get to see that periodically in the thing, so it's nice to have some, discriminatory bullshit in the game. Well, it's not nice, but it's nice for a realistic feel. Because no one's gonna no one's gonna love everyone. Okay? That's just realism, okay? There's always gonna be some person or some race or whatever that's going to be hated upon by everyone else, or gonna hate everyone else equally as much, and all this other crazy shit, because that's just fucking human nature, okay? We hate and fear things that are different from us, even though they're a different type of what is us anyway. That's a problem with humanity, but again, fucking human nature. It won't change unless humans change. And that's what evolution's for. But I digress. So, as you're going through all this crazy bullshit, as I'm trying to remember what the buttons are, here's Gallia's natural bullshit. Universal conscription. Because the draft is a thing. It ain't going away. This is what I said before with the whole policy of Israel. Everyone's fucking military trained. Whether you want to join the army or be a part of the militia or whatever, that's your choice. In times of war, though, everyone's part of the militia if you ain't already in the army. So, fuck you. But yes, it's actually a very, very, very good policy. Especially if you're a nation that wants to be neutral. Okay? You have everyone who's military trained, everyone who owns at least a gun or is able to grab a gun very easily with plenty of ammo. Only those who are really, really confident will attempt to fuck with you, because literally every member of the nation you're invading is a potential enemy. It's fucking scary shit, alright? And that's why it works so well. Speaking of, what you're playing as in this game is members of the militia, which is interesting because you do interact with the army forces at times, but the limited that you do interact with them, the army kind of is like incompetent and the fucking militia ends up doing all the work, and you're just like, how is this? It should be the opposite, but game logic. Okay, so that's the fucking historical Lessen bullshit. Except for, here's some numbers about Gallia's military, okay? 80,000 ground units, 100 Marines, and 200... Nah, oh my god, I'm gay, I'm saying the fucking... it's fucking tired and I'm hot today. I apologize for this. It's okay, it adds to the entertainment. Okay. So 80,000 ground units, 10,000 Marines, and 2,000 military police, atop of God knows how many town watches, which are basically just privatized militias for each independent town, and then the militia, which is drafted from the civilians and all that other crazy shit. Technically, we work for the army, but we end up doing all the jobs. because the armies are assholes. Mostly. Some are fine. Some of them are fine, but the one general especially that you interact with, Jesus fucking Christ, I want to punch him in the face. Goddamn nobility bullshit. But anyway, yeah, that's more or less the history lesson for now. And I'm going to be grinding the shit out of my forces before I properly continue this campaign. But anyway, as I'm continuing to ramble on and on and on and on and on, here's a look. Okay, so they don't have pictures of tanks like I hoped. I was gonna show you pictures of tanks, but no, we only got the special tank. The special tank, which is also powered by Ragnite. Everything's powered by Ragnite. Everything. Everything! But yeah, okay. Again, end of the history lesson. This is the first episode. Next episode will be continuing where the sadness begins. So prepare yourself! Because shit's going to hit you right in the feels. Have a good time, everyone. Bye-bye.